Hello and welcome again. Before we start this lecture, there are a few things I want to modify on this prop we did previously. First thing, it feels wide, so we need to scale it down on the y-axis. And to do this, press S, Y, then set the value to 0.5, which is 50% of its original size. And we actually want to scale the whole object down, so press S, and then 0.5. Also, we want to change the name from pipes holder to pipes supporters, and this describes it more accurately. Now we're going to create the actual pipe model. A tip before we start modeling: when creating a 3D object, you need to make the right approach to make it. Blender offers a wide range of primitive objects, like the cube for example, and it's a generic type that can be easily modified and shaped to get the needed results. We've used the cube previously to create the pipe supporters, but it can also serve as a starting point for many other objects, such as a box, a house, a phone, a pillow, or even a table. And these are simple objects that needs a basic understanding of modeling, but to create complicated objects like cars and rockets and other complex shapes, you'll need to use more than one primary object. For example, to create a car model, you need a cube and 4 cylinders. With practice, you'll naturally learn to identify which primary objects are best to start with. The understanding doesn't come from theory alone. It comes from hands-on practice with a variety of shapes until you develop an instinct for choosing the right foundation for any model. If you're having a problem with figuring out which object could be a good starting point, you can list the objects in front of you to get a clear visualization. So, from my point of view, it can be fair to say that the cylinder is a great starting point. The pipe supporter is interfering the view, so we need to hide it. Select it, then press H, or press the I in the Collections tab to unhide it, Alt, and H. So Shift A to add a cylinder, go to Meshes, and select the cylinder. As you can see, a cylinder is made by these segments that are connected from the top and bottom. And also they are 2 connected circles. When you add a cylinder, a closed tab appears with it. Open it, and you have these parameters. If this tab disappears for some reason, just press F9 and it will come back again. So, vertices modifies the count of the segments that are defining the cylinder. So, adding more will make the objects feel softer, and less will make the edges feels harder. And as we are making a low poly model, we need to keep it a low value. 6 will be a good value to go with. So everything in here is super straightforward. So for the radius, I'm gonna set it to 0.4, and for the depth, I'm gonna set it to 5. Sorry, I'm gonna add the screencast again. You know, actually it feels a little bit bigger than it should be. So I'm going to set the radius to 0.2 and the depth to 3 will be okay. Okay, now we're going to rotate the pipe on the x-axis by 90 degrees. And here we have it. Now we've figured out the general shape, but we want to make details in here where the pipe is connected to the pipe's holders. And to do this, we need to go to the edit mode. So press tab, and now I'm going to introduce you to the loop cats. So to make a loop cat, hold Control and press R. And when you get close to the mesh, this yellow segment, will appear. And to control it, you can add more segments by scrolling the mouse wheel To apply it, just left click and you can drag it to the sides just by using the mouse. So right click for now. We're going to add an automation modifier called the mirror modifier. So before we add the mirror modifier, we need to remove this side of the mesh. Hold Z and hover the mouse to wireframe. In wireframe mode, you can see through the mesh and see all the vertices that are making it. So now we need to hold the left mouse and select all the vertices from the side. Press X and choose vertices. Now press Z and hover back to solid. You can also change between modes from here. To add the mirror modifier, go to the modifiers tab, add modifier, generate mirror. And as you can see, nothing is happening. And this is because the mirror modifier is applied to the x-axis, but we actually want to make it on the y-axis. So deselect the x-axis and add it to the y-axis. And if you can see, there is nothing happening or changing. So if you deselect the y-axis and select z-axis, you can find the modifier is now actually working. And this is because the dimensions of the mesh are not correct. And to fix them, go back to the object mode, select the object, press N, go to item, and as you can see in here, the z-axis, which is this axis, is 3 meters, and the y-axis is only 0.4. And they are actually inverted. And to fix them, hold Ctrl A and apply the transforms. As you can see, the modifier is not working on the z-axis now, so deselect it and select the y-axis. Go back to the edit mode. Now, as you can see, the mirror modifier is now working perfectly. Now, to add the actual details, add a loop cut, add a segment, hover the mouse close to the edge, left click, go to the face mode, make sure the cursor is close to the edge, hold Alt, Shift, and left click. Now all these faces are selected, and now I'm going to introduce you to the extrude. To extrude, press E, and as you can see, the object can be extruded. Press S, and now we can scale it out of the object. We don't want to scale it on the y-axis, only on the x and the z-axis. So to do this, hold Shift and Y. Now the object is only scaled on the z and the x-axis. Left click to apply. Go back to the object mode, and now we have our pipe object. We only need to rename it from cylinder to pipe, and also apply the mirror modifier. This is it for this lecture. See you in the next one.